guys, I'm so excited that I'm finally talking to y'all. So sorry that I haven't been. I procrastinate. That's just a little issue of mine. But we're back, we're here, and that's what matters. So, I don't know if you guys know, but your girl graduated. Thank you, God. Like, for real. Thank you, God. I graduated with my Bachelor's of Science in Nursing, something that I've been thriving for the past 4 years. So I'm honestly grateful for that. This semester was so weird. Like, to all of y'all out there that are students or were students, this past semester was just crazy, you know? A lot of things going on in the world. Unfortunately, this pandemic has caused so much loss within the world. I empathize with those who have suffered a loss during this time or are going through anyone that is ill right now. I truly empathize with you, and my prayers are with y'all. So, yeah, it's been quite a semester. It wasn't like anything I imagined. I never thought that graduation wasn't going to take place. It did virtually. And they said that, when this is over, we'll do it. Don't know when that will be. But yeah, I definitely didn't imagine my semester going on like this. But you know what? It occurred, and I'm just grateful that I'm safe, that I'm, healthy. I'm grateful to God for that because, those are things that we have to be grateful for life. And so with that being said, welcome to this video. This is a Q&A. I asked people on my Instagram to ask me questions, and I'll make a video of it, so I'm gonna ask along. Okay, so first question, how are you preparing for the NCLEX? Okay, so as you see here, I have my books lined up, but let me show you my cat real quick. It's really cute, I like it. So I had to put on the cap for I walk by faith, not by sight, because I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. I put two Bible quotes together. I just combined them, but definitely my favorite Bible verse is Philippians 4:13. And a lot of people that know that or know me know that that's my favorite verse, so I had to put it on my graduation cap. Okay, so how am I preparing for the NCLEX? So real quick, let me just, summarize what I've been doing. So, I got this pink ATI Comprehensive NCLEX RN Review. So for all of those who don't know what ATI is, a lot of schools use it, a lot of nursing schools. So basically it's kind of like this program where the purpose is to help you prepare for the NCLEX. So they put this in my curriculum in my school where they would have us do practice A and B, test, submit it, get points for it, and then at the end of the semester we take a proctored exam. In my opinion, I feel like a lot of us as students, like I'm speaking for my class, forgive me if I'm wrong, but I think we could all agree that, there wasn't really a focus on ATI so much because like the final and the proctored exam would be probably given a week apart. And to be honest, the final weighed more, like 10 times more than your ATI grade. So, and chances are the final was comprehensive, so you had to really sit down and study. So it was kind of hard to focus on ATI. Like it was just like, okay, like honestly, I'm gonna focus studying on my final, and then I'll give my attention maybe 30-40% to ATI. Realistically, because if you don't do well on your final, you may not pass the class. So I don't really like the way it was set up into our curriculum because, so for those who have not graduated, in your final semester, you will get this book. So what was supposed to happen was the people from ATI were supposed to attend the school for 3 days, give us a live review, and hand out these books. But because of the pandemic, they did it on Zoom and they sent us the book. My opinion, I think it's helpful. I think it's definitely helpful. Those 3 days on Zoom, I learned certain things that I wish I would have learned like a long time ago because it would have saved me getting some questions wrong on certain exams. So And I have UWorld. Okay, so we are gonna talk about UWorld. I think UWorld is great. I've been using it for like over a month now, month and a half maybe. And when I compare the two, they are quite similar. There are differences. UWorld is a little harder, but in terms of like the way to ask questions, it is very similar. On top of this book, I also have what most people have and most people get, which is the Saunders Comprehensive NCLEX book. I had seen a YouTube video because UWorld is kind of complicated. When you go on it, you see categories and subcategories and subcategories. So it makes it hard for you to like organize yourself. So what's it called? It's different from ATI because ATI already has like, okay, fundamentals here, this and that here. UWorld is like, here's the categories of all the subjects, right? And you make your own test. So you can like put 5 questions in a test, 10 questions in a test, and make your own little practice test. That's how you do it. And the way you organize your questions is according to categories and subcategories. So I went on YouTube like how to organize it, and like the girl so happened to have these 2 books, and she said that she used these 2 books to help her answer questions in UWorld. She said that she organized it by like this way that I am gonna do. So pharm is like a category itself, but you can combine it with like med-surg and like peds. So what I'm gonna do is instead of taking pharm by itself, I'm gonna categorize it with each subject's mental health, everything. Because I feel like if I do pharm by itself, it's gonna get a little confusing. So I like what she said, and I'm gonna take her advice. I got this 10 subject notebook. I've never gotten a 10 subject notebook before. I didn't even know that existed. What I really like about this notebook, I got it on Amazon. What I really like is, sorry my nails look ugly. What I really like is you can take out the dividers and put them wherever you want. I think that's cool. I've never had a notebook like that. If you have, that's awesome. But I never have. So what I decided to do after realizing that I may be psyching myself up. My mistake was I immediately went to UWorld and I started making mini practice tests, and it got a little confusing. So what I did was, for example, for fundamentals, I went on ATI. I did practice A and B over again. Surprisingly, it was easier than 2 years ago. So I did that. I took notes on questions I did wrong. So I'm going to show you guys here. Can't breathe. Here I have fundamentals ATI, and I wrote down a bunch of notes. And then then I went to UWorld, did some questions for fundamentals, and took some notes. So that's how I'm organizing myself, and it is working. I noticed that when I go through ATI and then I go to UWorld, I do much better on UWorld because I'm already trying to remember some knowledge already from ATI, so it's really good. And then what I'm also doing is, for example, I keep moving the books around. For example, here I was not doing so well in medication administration for fundamentals on UWorld, so I made myself a sticky note, and I put check pages 144 and up from the book, and then I labeled them in the book. So that's what I'm doing so far. It's working for me. Hopefully I do pass. Pray for me. Next question. Okay, how to approach NCLEX styled questions, note-taking, studying tips for when starting nursing school. Alright, so I really like this question. Why? Because I wish someone would have taught me how to answer NCLEX styled questions for nursing school. When I first went to college, I did pre-vex, bio, A&P, chem, psych, and all the subjects you can possibly think of, I took them. But when I got to spring 2018, my sophomore year of college, everything changed. I was officially in the program. I was taking pharmacology, health assessment, all nursing courses, and no one told me that this was going to be different, that the questions were going to be NCLEX styled. I knew that, okay, I had to download a software and I couldn't go back to a question once I was finished with it. But I honestly thought if I studied, I would pass, just usual. But honestly, not only do you have to study the material, you have to study practice questions. For those of you who are in high school, right? When you have to take a SAT or a Regents, what do? You do practice questions from that book they give you or from examples they give you. It's very similar in nursing school. Once you get to the program and you start taking nursing courses, all your exams will be NCLEX styled. And if you don't practice questions that are similar to NCLEX styled questions, it's not gonna go that well. I'm coming from experience. Listen to me, please, please. Okay, so I'm gonna give you guys an example. I'm gonna put a question up. Pay attention. It kind of looks easy, but it's not. Okay. What statement is true regarding oral care of patients on anticoagulants? A, use an electric toothbrush daily. B, avoid oral care. C, use mouthwash only. D, use a soft bristle toothbrush. Okay, when you look at this question, you immediately think to yourself, this is about oral care. You're wrong. It's not about oral care at all. It's about anticoagulants. So for all of us who have or who are familiar with anticoagulants, who are a nursing student, medical professional, or maybe you just know about anticoagulants because maybe you're on them or there's a family member, right? There is a huge risk for bleeding. Huge risk for bleeding when you're on anticoagulants. So what the question is really asking you is, what statement is true regarding anything with anticoagulants? Or like, what should you be teaching the patient to do or not to do? It's not necessarily about oral care. Like, I think someone might be scared, like, reading this question, like, the first time, like, if they're in the nursing program, their first class, they're probably like, oh my God, when did the teacher speak about oral care when it comes to anticoagulants? What type of brush? Is it in my notes? Like, probably it's not in your notes. Probably it's not even in the book. What's in the book is probably something like, with anticoagulants, there's a risk for bleeding. So interventions, or what you should educate your patient, is things they shouldn't be doing, or things they should be doing to avoid the risk for bleeding. So the answer is use a soft bristle toothbrush. Why? Because if you use a soft bristle toothbrush, chances are you're not going to make yourself bleed while brushing your teeth. And if you were to brush your teeth and you were to bleed, that'd be a problem because you're on anticoagulants. So that's really what the question is asking you. This is what I mean about NCLEX styled questions. You could study all day long anticoagulants, risk for bleed, risk for bleed, risk for bleed, and you could look at a question like this and be like, oral care? But you see, you have to apply the knowledge. It's all about critical thinking. I wish I knew this prior. I wish I knew how to answer these questions. I honestly didn't practice questions in the beginning, but thank God I still made it. Eventually I did, once I figured out that was the reason why I wasn't doing well. And yeah, but it is truly like eye-opening when you see these questions. There are much more complicated questions than this one. If you really thought this was easy, there's way more complicated ones that confuse you. I was just giving an easy example. But yeah, okay, so note-taking studying tips for when starting nursing school. So right, when it comes to note-taking studying tips, honestly, for me, I was blessed enough to have a professor that made great PowerPoints. My MedSurg 2 and 3 professor made PowerPoints that were like so similar to the textbook. I had friends in other classes with other teachers asking me to borrow my PowerPoints. It is essential that you print those out if your professor has good PowerPoints. If not, make your own notes. I mean, still make your own notes. Still, from the book. And then make sure you understand the knowledge. If you're having a hard time, I would say try watching a video on YouTube. Registered Nurse RN is really helpful. You can watch her after you reading it yourself. Don't go to her first. Go to the book, because sometimes the book says something different, and they're testing you on the book. They're not testing you on Registered Nurse RN. Do the book, and then to understand it further, watch her videos. And then that's when you start doing practice questions. Never like do practice questions solely. If you do the both hand in hand, chances are you will succeed. You know? So to the person who asked me that, you know who you are. You can shoot me a DM. I will be happy, you know, helping you out for sure. It's all about teamwork. Nursing is about teamwork, and I'm here for you. You can DM me. I'll DM you myself. Definitely to help you out with anything. So, next question. What's a good memory you had in clinicals? Okay, so let me see. I had so many great memories in clinicals. I feel like that is when, like, if I ever felt like down because I did badly on an exam or I didn't do so well, clinicals would lift me up, because just seeing a smile on a patient would make my day fully. I would say a good memory I had was in med-surg 3. So med-surg 3, I was in Mount Sinai, West Roosevelt, which I was happy about because it was right by my house. My clinical instructor assigned me to a Hispanic patient that didn't know any English. So when I walked into the room and immediately started speaking Spanish, I literally saw like comfort within her. I saw her immediately relax. And that to me showed that she felt like safe. She felt listened to, you know, and she felt secure. I feel like that made me feel great, you know, knowing that I'm a Hispanic individual that can speak Spanish and that can help a patient out that maybe feels a little like intimidated because they don't speak English and they just want to make sure that they're being properly taken care of or even heard. So I feel like even though maybe that might sound minimal, that was a great memory I had in clinicals, just feeling like, you know, I served some sort of purpose, you know, and she immediately relaxed and I stayed with her the whole time, not even doing like nursing stuff. Like, yeah, I like helped her with medication. I did medication with the nurse on her, but then after that, I just stayed and I spoke to her the whole time, and she was so grateful to me. She told me that, you know, her family hadn't visited her in a while, so she was just happy to have someone to talk to. So that to me was one of my greatest memories. It makes me feel good being a Hispanic nurse, you know, and to all the Hispanic nurses out there or Hispanic individuals that want to be nurses, go for it. There's definitely a need for bilingual individuals. Please, 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 there's definitely a need. So, okay, next question. What was your fave nursing course? Let me see. I feel like I have two favorite nursing courses. I loved pediatrics and I loved psych. Now, the reason why I liked both of them is kind of like similar in a sense, because the reason why I liked peds is because certain times we learned about how like child development can be affected by, you know, their environment, by genetics, by this, that, and the third, things to look out for when it comes to them. And like I feel like in psych it was somewhat similar, you know, understanding how the mind works, understanding the reason for certain things. And that's the area of peds that I really liked. So who knows what area of nursing I'm gonna go into. I know I really want to go into peds, but like in terms of like specifics, I don't know yet. Hopefully, you know, God opens doors and yeah, I get to see what I'm gonna do in life. I know I have a lot of ideas and plans that I want to do. Eventually I want to get into travel nursing. I want to get into so many things, and like I'm just gonna put God first and let him lead me, you know, because I never want to do anything crazy like that. I want to be led by God, and just, you know, wherever I go is wherever I go. But I really want to get into peds. Hopefully I get into a children's hospital. I want to start off in peds. I don't really want to start off in med-surg. I know a lot of people start off in med-surg, but I just don't see that route for me. If it happens, God bless, because at least I get a job where I can start off and eventually lead my way to peds. But hopefully I get to start off with peds. Next question. Okay, how is the nursing career coming along? God bless you. Aw. God bless you too. The nursing career coming along. Hasn't started yet. Um, well, right now I'm in the process of trying to look for a job, also registering for the NCLEX. I have to take my NCLEX to be licensed. So right now I have a Bachelor's of Science in Nursing. I graduated with my degree in nursing. However, in order to be licensed, you need to take your license exam, which is what I was talking about in the beginning of the video, preparing for it and studying for it from the state of New York. So that, I think, hopefully I'll take it in a couple months. Who knows? Who really knows? But hopefully I pass. Okay, so my final question is, how do we register to the state and Pearson View? Okay, so the question is asking, how do you register for the NCLEX? That's basically what this question is. So what my school did was they sent out how to register and all of that maybe like 2 days before our graduation day. So basically you have to apply first to your state, which is the state of New York for me. That is where we first apply to see if we're eligible, which obviously we are. And there you will pay like $143. So that's step one, your first registration for the licensure application. Then after that, you register for the NCLEX with Pearson View. So there, you're basically registering for your exam, and that is $200. So at the end, you're spending, what did I say I spent? $143, yeah. At the end, in total, you're spending about $343, which is, you know, worth it. I know it hurt me. I just paid that last week. And thanks to my sister, she paid the $143, which I'm grateful for. So she at least paid the other part of it, which I'm happy about. So thank you, Emelsa, for that one. And thank you to my whole family, you know, they've supported me and I'm really grateful for them. Like, grateful to God first. I'm grateful to God for my family, because without them, like, I don't even know. So yeah, so that was my last question, guys. There will be more content coming soon. I promise this time I will work on it. I'm gonna make a video by itself about the NCLEX when I pass. Hopefully I pass. Pray for me. I will make a video after I pass explaining in detail how I studied for it. So hopefully my studying mechanisms work. Please, please God. Okay, so yeah, have a great day, guys. Hope you like this video. Please remember to like and subscribe. And, you know, send the video to your friends. If you know people who are interested in nursing, send them over to me. I will be so happy to help out. Like I said, I wish I had more advice going into it. I definitely had advice on how to like pick schools, but like after that I was kind of on my own with things, you know. So I just want to give back and help those that need it. So hopefully you like this video. Bye.